Well, the NFL draft was over the weekend. Kyle Brown's here to tell us which Gamecocks went. Kyle?
A bunch of them went, Ethan. It was a good week for Gamecock fans. Football fans will recognize a lot of familiar faces when they turn on football Sunday afternoons next fall, as 7 Gamecocks were drafted over the weekend. The big name of the bunch was Marcus Lattimore, who went in the 4th round to the 49ers.
It's just been a great experience, but when I got the call, I seen the 408 area code, and I wasn't sure who it was. But, when I picked up the phone, it was Coach Harbaugh, and what a great feeling that was.
Lattimore wasn't the only Gamecock drafted, though. DJ Swearinger was the first Gamecock taken off the board, as he went in the 2nd round to Houston. Ace Sanders was picked up by Jacksonville in the 4th round, and Devin Taylor went in the 4th round as well to the Detroit Lions. Devontae Holloman went to the Cowboys in the 6th round, and T.J. Johnson to the Bengals in the 7th. By the way, last but not least was Justice Cunningham. He was picked by the Indianapolis Colts as the last pick in the entire draft, which makes him Mr. Irrelevant. He gets a free trip to Newport Beach, California with that pick, and he will spend a week there with his family and receive golf, free food, and a trophy. South Carolina baseball had a huge weekend as they went to Baton Rouge and came away with the 2 biggest wins of the Chad Holbrook era. The Gamecocks took on the 2nd-ranked LSU Tigers, and after dropping the first game in the 3-game set, they were able to bounce back and win the next 2 games to win the series. This improved USC's record to 33-12, and they look forward to a tough series against Vanderbilt later this week.
It's an exciting game to win. One, we beat a great team, maybe one of the best teams in the country. I think the best team in the country. In an incredible environment, a great baseball environment.
Currently in the NBA, there are only 6 players who are from the state of South Carolina. A recent influx of high school basketball talent in the state, though, is hoping to make that number increase. I will report on what chances these special athletes have of being future NBA stars. Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Jermaine O'Neal, and Raymond Felton are a few of the big-name NBA players that are from the state of South Carolina. Lately, though, the state has not produced as much basketball talent as it used to. Perry Dozier Jr., the son of Perry Dozier Sr., who played at USC in the 80s, is one high school basketball player in the state who is trying to change that.
Hopefully try to start something new, put South Carolina on the map. Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Jermaine O'Neal, them being from South Carolina and making it to the NBA is definitely, something to look up to.
According to ESPN, he is doing just that by being the 9th-ranked high school sophomore in the country. Dozier is the first player in the state of South Carolina to be ranked inside the top 10 high school basketball recruits in the country since Raymond Felton in 2002. And you can come watch Dozier play here at Spring Valley High School. Dozier Sr. is his high school coach at Spring Valley and thinks his son could be special.
One of the things is he's very gifted, talented. He's been playing ball since he was 4 years old. He's traveled around the world since he was a little boy. And I guess, just take one person to like you. And fortunately, I think good things have happened for him.
And Dozier Jr. already has offers and interest from all the high major basketball programs.
Ohio State, Kansas, South Carolina, Clemson, Virginia Tech, Wichita, NC State, UNC.
Basketball recruiting analyst Bill Gunner outlines the strengths and weaknesses in Perry's game.
To impact the game in so many different ways via points, maybe rebounds, assists, or defense. But again, his strength would definitely be his IQ. And again, when you talk weakness, we're looking at his shooting ability from the perimeter. Is that an area that he can continue to develop?
But Gunner does feel like he could make it to the NBA.
I think with continued development, the NBA is a strong possibility for him, provided that he continues to increase his strength and increase his game.
While it might not be a common thing to see a South Carolina resident dunking in the NBA, Perry Dozier Jr. thinks that he will change that.
Definitely. I think that's everyone's dream, to make it to the NBA. So, who doesn't have those dreams about, playing on the NBA court in front of the NBA fans? So.
And he has a very good shot, as all but one player that was ranked inside the ESPN Top 10 in the 2009 and 2010 classes is currently on an NBA roster. Kyle Brown, Carolina News. Dozier is not alone, though. Seventh Woods, who is a freshman at Hammond High School in Columbia, is ranked as high as number 2 in his class, and LJ Peak from Gaffney is ranked number 34 overall in the class of 2014. And in some breaking sports news, the most talked about and overhyped player to do absolutely nothing in his career besides win one playoff game, Tim Tebow, has been cut by the New York Jets. Now Skip Bayless can cry and Tebow can find his next job as a minister or a Christian missionary, whatever he wants to do. I really don't care about the guy. But it's sports news, so what are we going to do? Talk about it.
Wow, cut from the Jets. Well, thanks so much for that sports update, Kyle.
You're welcome. Anything for you.
Kyle. And
Kyle, what do you have for us today?
Oh, I have a lot of stuff for us. A lot's been going on, especially with the Gamecocks today. The South Carolina Gamecock football team held their annual Pro Day today. The Gamecocks had 18 athletes working out at the Pro Day. They did different events from the 40-yard dash to the shuttle drill, the bench press, and much more. NFL scouts and coaches showed up to see what Gamecock athletes would be a fit for their teams. Scouts from the Falcons, Panthers, and Raiders were all on hand to check out players. Some of the big names that were competing today in Pro Day were Devontae Holloman, Ace Sanders, DJ Swearinger, and of course, Gamecock legend Marcus Lattimore. DJ Swearinger shares his expectations.
First round, that's my ultimate goal. Was, wherever I go, I'm looking, to get to my team, start day one and be an impact from day one.
Swearinger projects to be a second-round pick, but with a good pro day, he could slide late into the first round. USC baseball got back to their winning ways last night after they had been swept over the weekend by Arkansas. The Gamecocks were able to pull off a 3-1 win over the College of Charleston last night in Charleston. USC pitcher Kobe Holmes was able to break out of his slump and get the win. He had been demoted to a midweek starter, but he pitched 7 1/3 innings, allowing only 4 hits and 1 run. The Gamecocks improved their record to 19-6 on the season, going into their weekend series against Texas A&M. The United States played their international rival Mexico last night in a World Cup qualifier in soccer. Both teams ran around for a full 90 minutes and neither were able to score a goal. The game ended in what could only be described as a thrilling 0-0 tie. The tie gave the U.S. men a point towards qualifying for the 2014 World Cup. Former South Carolina goalie Brad Guzan was the star of the U.S. team last night as he was able to block all shot attempts that came his way. He was filling in for the injured U.S. goalie Tim Howard. The United States won't play again until May 29th against Belgium. The Miami Heat will put their 26-game winning streak on the line tonight in Chicago. The Heat take on the Chicago Bulls at 8 on ESPN. The Bulls are one of the few teams to have success over the Heat since the big three of LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade came together 2 years ago. They have gone 6-3 against the Heat during that time in the regular season. And the world has become a better place for men in Allentown, Pennsylvania. After they have had too much beer to drink while watching their favorite AAA baseball team, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, men can now go in the bathroom and play a video game. You heard me right. Men can go to the urinal and play a urinal video game. The goal is to hit the penguins and other targets with your urine stream as you travel through the course. The general manager of the Iron Pigs says the urine game is not all fun and games. There is a health aspect to it too, as they put ads in the games reminding men to get their prostates checked. They have said that the average game lasts approximately 55 seconds.
Thank you, Kyle, for that illuminating news.
Yeah, well, it's actually not uncommon in the United Kingdom. They have games over there where I am a world champion. So.
And coming up next on Carolina News.